Look at this cute cafe that I came to work in today on that same lake. They just have the cutest cafes in Vietnam.
It is time for the viewer question and answer session that I promised you. Thanks to all of you who wrote in with questions. And I got a lot of the same questions, so what I did was I tried to sort of meld it down to a few key questions that I'm going to answer. Before I start, I would like to thank a couple of people. First of all, my mother-in-law has been so supportive of this channel. I just want to thank her. I know she's out there listening to every minute of tape that I put up, and she's given me such nice and positive feedback, and I really appreciate that. Secondly, I would like to thank my older sister, who has also been so supportive of my channel to the point that she sent out the link to my channel to pretty much everybody she could think of. She has also hit the thumbs up button and written a comment for every video, and she's included her whole family in the process too. So thank you to my big sister and her family as well. Now on to your questions. Okay, what do I miss most about the US? I've thought a lot about this, and one thing that I miss is just walking down a normal street, like the kind we have in most cities in the US outside of New York. So walking down a quiet street without all the chaos, without all the motorbikes, the traffic going every which way, the noise, the air pollution, and the trash all over the sides of the road. So that's one thing I miss about the US. Of course, I also miss my familiar foods that I love. And then in that category, of course, people just asked about what foods and specifically do I miss from the US. As I've said before, I really miss baking. So I love to bake, and I miss my chocolate chip cookies. So the other thing that I miss is my favorite restaurant in town. It's just steps from my husband's and my apartment, and they bill themselves as a French bistro. It's called Petit Choux. It's my favorite restaurant, and I cannot wait to go back there. So guaranteed the first weekend that I'm home, we will be eating dinner there. Also, the first day that I'm home, guaranteed, I will be baking chocolate chip cookies and gobbling down the entire tray, warm and fresh out of the oven, after having down gobs of the cookie dough before they went into the oven. So far, what is the highlight of my Vietnam experience was another question. The highlight for sure was just meeting all the different people that I met. And I'm actually just talking about expats. Of course, I met a lot of Vietnamese people, but for the most part, didn't have such meaningful conversations with them. So all of the people I met, like on my orientation program, and then the other teachers here in Haiphong, just people from all over the world, different ages, different circumstances, you know, all these Filipinos that I told you about, the South Africans, a lot of people from different countries of Africa, just meeting so many different people. And every time I got to go out with them, whether it was a planned thing during my orientation, or we just went out spontaneously as a group, just spending time with all of these very different people that I never would have met just sitting at home in my apartment in the US, of course. Someone
Asked what is the best food that I have eaten here in Vietnam. And I would have to give that to that little roadside stand I ate at my last night in Saigon. It was near my hotel, and they were cooking the fresh shrimp on the grill and then serving it to me in these fresh pancakes with vegetables and such. And you kind of stuff your own pancakes. I'll try to post a picture of that here. It was in a previous video, but I'll try to put in a picture of that here. I don't know what it's called, unfortunately, so that's not that helpful. Okay, some other people asked, what do I think Vietnam does best, and what will I miss most about Vietnam? So I'm combining that into sort of one and the same thing. First of all, one thing that Vietnam does really well is they just eat all fresh food. I mean, it's just cooked on the spot, on the street all the time, and I believe they also cook at home. I don't think they eat a lot of prepared, frozen, or canned foods or processed foods the way we do in the US. Probably that would account for why they have one of the lowest obesity rates in the world, because I don't see them getting a whole lot of exercise. They don't walk anywhere, they just ride motorbikes. So I would attribute that to their diet. Another thing that is so great in Vietnam is the convenience factor. And again, I'm viewing this all through the eyes of US dollars. So everything is so inexpensive for me. But you can get anything delivered here, like anything, to your doorstep. So on the Grab app, the app that I use for getting rides, they also have food, kind of like Uber Eats. So you can go on there and you can order from like any restaurant in town. You can search what kind of food you're looking for, and you can have it delivered within like 20 or 30 minutes to your doorstep for a delivery fee of between $1 and $2. So again, that's dependent on me feeling that that is so cheap in terms of the US dollar. But aside from just food, you can also just get anything delivered to you. They have their own version of Amazon here. It's called Lazada, and you can just find anything on there. And if it's not in Vietnam, it's shipped from China, and it comes to you within a few days. And the other good thing about that was so convenient was I once did a return on there for an electronic item that I bought. And so they come and they deliver the items on a motorbike. So these motorbikes guys have these big lockers on the back of their bike that's filled with all the packages. And when I made a return, they came to my door and picked it up also at my door. So I think I put in the return request at like 11 p.m. one night, and the next morning the guy called me on the phone and said he was downstairs to pick up my package that I was returning.
Also, one time I was walking, it was in my neighborhood, but not that close to my house. I was about 10 minutes from my house, and the Lazada driver who had delivered things to me before was driving by, and he saw me and he recognized me, and he pulled over on the street and he opened up the locker and gave me a package that he had for me right there. Okay, I almost forgot to address the things that I will miss most about Vietnam. And first of all, I will miss some, although not all, of my students, but I have some lovely students that I'm really gonna miss, particularly my favorite class, which is a class of 7 11-year-old boys, and they're so terrific. We have so much fun together, and there's one boy in there named Kent, who's just an incredible young human being. So I am going to miss some of my students. I'm also going to miss just how lovely the Vietnamese people are. They're so friendly, helpful, and honest. I mean, I love when I walk down the street, everybody yells hello because they see a white person. That's been nice, kind of special. They're just so helpful. If they see me on the street, you know, trying to find directions, they all come over to try to help me. and honest. Just for example, in the market, like I'll always only want to buy like 2 cucumbers. So she will charge me 5,000 dong for the 2 cucumbers, but then the lady selling the cucumbers will throw another cucumber into my bag because 2 cucumbers is too little for her to charge me for. So she makes sure that I get an extra cucumber, even though I clearly only wanted 2. Okay, more in the food genre. Somebody asked, what is my Haiphong food routine these days? Well, unfortunately, I never really got into a great routine. When I first got here, I just ran around trying everything, all the street food, and they eat a lot of noodle soups here. Like, they eat pho for breakfast. I cannot do that. As you know, I lean more towards a sweet breakfast than a savory breakfast, but pho for breakfast, no. But after about a month or 2, I just got sick of noodle soups in general. I couldn't even look at another noodle soup. But that's when I discovered a dish called gum tam, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. Gum tam officially means broken rice, and what it is in ancient times, I guess they packaged up the good rice that they harvested and brought it to the market to sell, and then what was left were the broken grains, which they kept at home and ate themselves. Well, in more modern times, it's become very popular to eat broken rice dishes. It's very in amongst all economic levels of Vietnamese people. So what it is it's generally like a buffet. So you'll go to these stands and they give you a couple scoops of rice on a plate or in a styrofoam to-go box, and then they just have a variety of meats out. They usually have chicken and pork, and then they have some fried things, fish, and you just choose what you want, and they put that on your rice, and then there's always 1 or 2 vegetable sides that you get with it. And for me, they usually have like an omelet or a fried egg, and they also have tofu. So I can get like the omelet and tofu, and sometimes they have peanuts to sprinkle on top. I love when they have the peanuts. And it comes with this common Vietnamese dressing made up of fish sauce mixed with lime juice and garlic, and you put that on the rice. So the one routine I have gotten into is there's one of these gum tam places near my apartment. So often when I'm at home, lesson planning or whatever, I will go down there and get my lunch. And as you can see, it's a big, huge lunch that's I get for 30,000 Vietnamese dong, which is like $1.25. So yes, that's another thing I will miss about Vietnam is the cheap prices on everything, especially food. Being able to get a full meal for $1.25. I'm definitely gonna have sticker shock when I get home. Okay, somebody asked what has been the most stressful experience I've had in Vietnam so far, and I have to say it was just, well, first of all, teaching is stressful for me in general, but that's a whole other story, I guess. But the most stressful part was in the beginning. What happened was, I've said this a million times, they made a mistake on my visa, so I wasn't able to get the business visa in the US. I had to come in on a 30-day tourist visa. So then in the first 30 days, I had to make a visa run, which meant I had to leave the country and go to a bordering country, in this case Thailand, and they arranged it so that I had just started the new job. So I taught for 1 day, and the next day I left for Thailand, and I was gone for a few days, and of course I had to worry about, well, what if the visa doesn't work out in Thailand, and then how will I get back into Vietnam? And then the day after I got back, I went right back into teaching, and it was a brand new job, so that whole situation was just very stressful. Even though I did end up enjoying the trip to Thailand, and I have plenty of footage from my Thailand trip, which I'm planning to make into a YouTube video soon. But that was a very rough start to the teaching job. Okay, then somebody asked, would I be interested in doing this again in another country? And that's a very good question. And I would say probably not. First of all, not in Asia. I don't think I would do it in another Asian country. I am very interested in spending time in sort of Central Eastern Europe for some reason, Bulgaria, Serbia, all the other former Yugoslavia countries, Albania, Croatia, that whole area interests me. But if I did go there, I don't think I would do this again, like get a full-time job for a company in the country and have to do all the paperwork to get whatever sort of residency, visa, and work permit. What I would do is maybe teach English online or have some other sort of remote job and go stay like in Sofia, Bulgaria for 3 months, just doing my online work or something like that. I'm definitely open to doing that, but probably not a full-on experience like this again, and not in Asia. And finally, someone asked, are there any things you think you will do differently after returning to the US because of experiences you had in Vietnam? Also a great question, and I wish I had some profound answer of something that I will do radically different or some totally different mindset I will take back with me. But the only thing that comes to mind is I've learned that I don't think I want to be a classroom teacher again. I'm not ruling it out. The teaching is just not easy for me, and it's a struggle, and I feel like it is that way because I'm just not that good at it. I think if you're good at it, you get the kids to do more of the academic lift, as they should, and you're exerting or expending less energy, and it gets easier. But I'm not there, and I actually don't see myself getting there. So whether or not I stay in education, I just don't think I want to be a classroom teacher anymore when I get back. Now here's some news about my channel. Hi guys, I wanted to update you on what's going on with my vlog. I've decided I'm going to take a break from the vlog. So the YouTube channel, it takes a lot of time. It's a bit of work to edit these videos and post them. And I have hours and hours of footage. So when I'm not working for my job, which as you know is quite all-consuming, it's just weighing on me heavily that I have this YouTube work to do. So for the last few weeks that I'm here in Vietnam, when I'm not working, I want to have some free time. So what I'm going to do is this summer, when I get back to the US, I don't have much going on. So this summer I'm going to take some time and I'm going to post the rest of my videos to the channel, just so that I have the full story of my trip and I have a complete set. Now I know for some of you, you're probably not going to want to watch because you'll know that I'm back in the States and it just might be a little bit uninteresting at that point. But that's okay because I still want to just have it out there, as I said, for history. I know a lot of you are waiting for Sister Act 1 and 2, and I will deliver that. In fact, that'll be the first one that I post this summer when I get back home. But I have so much footage from my sister's visit that it's going to take a long time to do. So I will do that when I get back this summer. And finally, I'll leave you with this one interesting fact that I learned from my students. In the schools in Vietnam, instead of using bells to signal the end of class periods, they use a drum, traditional Vietnamese drum.